new week, a new vlog. Now today's vlog is starting to take a little bit of a different track, and it's kind of moving in the direction that I hope that many of these vlogs will start to move towards in the future, in these next few months. And that's towards a little bit more of the theoretical. Also, I've been helping my girlfriend move into her new apartment for the last 2 days, so I've been building furniture and I'm exhausted, my hands hurt. So this week I'm actually going to be answering a viewer's question. That said, KG writes, I have a quick paranormal-ish question to ask you. The other morning I woke up to find a man standing in my bed. He was standing there for about 30 seconds and disappeared when I blinked. His image was so vivid that I could tell you exactly what he was wearing, but there was a shadow over his face. And my question is, do you think that I was just dreaming? I've asked a lot of people about this and I'm getting tons of conflicting answers. I thought I would ask you to see if you had any thoughts. I know it's hard to give an answer when you weren't the one who experienced it, but I was thinking about the blog you had about the Pigman and the Stanley and how this is kind of similar. Now what got me most about your question and what I most wanted to address in this vlog was this idea of just dreaming. Now it's no surprise that you're getting conflicting answers on this because it is a very complicated topic. Now the way that I've approached it for most of my life is the way that I think that most people have approached it, where you kind of weigh between two options. Which one is most likely? That your brain is just dumping chemicals while you're trying to sleep and it's just hallucinating random stuff from your subconscious? Or on the other hand, are you tapping into something much deeper and mystical that thousands of different conflicting dream interpretation books that one of them might actually be onto something? Now most of what I said there I do believe is true on both sides of the same coin. Dreams are based in reality, they are based on your subconscious, and they're very, very pervasive. Pervasive in the sense that they start to cross over with your reality when you're half asleep, when you're drowsy. When I hear about people experiencing supernatural activity around them at night while they're normally sleeping, that's usually a big indicator to me that it well could be a dream, it well could be based in your mind and not actually be something happening around you. Look at old hack syndrome. Old hack syndrome is when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're unable to move. Now this is associated with a whole myriad of phenomena. However, what it stems from is more of an old-time belief that when you wake up in the middle of the night you can't move because there's an old hag or a witch that's straddling you and pinning you down to the bed. Now we see this with a lot of different phenomena at night when people are trying to sleep. We get the old hag, we get the incubi, we get the succubi, we get the presence on top of you, we get the black masses, we get the apparitions near the bed, we get the alien abduction story. All of this ties into sleep. Science likes to explain all this stuff under the category of sleep paralysis. When you're lying in bed at night and you're sleeping, your brain has to release chemicals that actually paralyze the body in order so that you don't act out your dreams. So if you wake suddenly from a very deep sleep, your body might still be a little bit paralyzed from these chemicals and you might find yourself not able to move. Being so close to sleep as well in this condition, you're very prone to hallucinate. Your dreams might cross over into your reality as well. Especially the more scared you get. You feel like there's something holding you down so that you can't move, and you start to freak out. You wonder what's happening around you that you can't see. But dreams don't like to stay nearly this simple, or phenomena happening around you while you're asleep or half asleep or even awake in the bedroom area. A lot of people have very profound mystical or psychical experiences in the dream state. And oftentimes the same kind of activity is validated by people either in the same room at the same time or sometimes even after the fact. If somebody moves and another person moves into a house, they start experiencing the same things while they're there trying to sleep. Now the state most closely associated with this is called the hypnagogic state. And it's this state that you kind of access when you're just barely falling asleep, but you're not fully asleep yet. There's a part of your mind that's still awake and aware of what's happening, but your body and still more of your brain have actually fallen asleep. Now this is a state that's frequently tied to astral projection, out-of-body experiences, hypnosis, meditation, trance mediumship, and more. Now, a more mystical interpretation of this state is that your rational, critiquing mind starts to shut down a little bit, and you're more open to pure experiences rather than rationalizing it away. Now, science, on the other hand, would like to suggest that because you're so close to sleep, you do still have this crossover with dreams, and that the whole idea of astral travel or out-of-body experiences are just very, very vivid creations of the mind. Being this close to sleep, the practitioner with enough experience could rebuild the entire world around them, but it's only in a dream state and it's not actually real. Now the doors really fly off of this when we start to look at the different areas of research that you could start to tackle each of these specifically. We have this idea of astral projection, of out-of-body experiences, of near-death experiences, of trance mediumship, of meditation. There's been different focused research in every single one of those areas with different and conflicting results. So I can't speak to the validity of the entire possible dream state without diving into each one of these topics separately, which each would deserve their own vlog, if not tons of vlogs. I, for one, though, do believe that there is actually something to this state and the experiences that are had therein. I can't go much further than that to theorize about what is actually happening. There's a lot of conflicting research about it that I'm starting to read more and more. But if anything, what's persuasive on the one hand is the amount of research and the amount of experiences people have had on this level that are sometimes validated, that do point to something more happening than just random drug sleep. On the other hand, too, I've had my own experiences in the hypnagogic state, and I'll drop a link down below in the description if you want to read more about that. I was at the Stanley Hotel, and I saw a creepy pig man in my mind's eye. Just a dream, or was there more happening there? But wait till the end of the video first. Now, Jung theorized about the collective unconsciousness and the subconscious areas of the brain. And normally these are the places, he said, where we push our fears and our unwanted desires and the things we're ashamed of. We push all this stuff away. We don't think about it consciously, but that's where we store it all. And sometimes these things will come through and manifest. Oftentimes when our guard is down, when we're dreaming. And usually because it's so much unwanted stuff, when it does come through, it's not a very enjoyable experience. Now, as far as the more spiritual element of what Jung did theorize, there was this collective unconsciousness in his foundation and his structure that he spoke toward. And it underlies psychically the entire human race, is what he said. And that it would sometimes manifest in creativity or in our dreams. And it would be in the form of sometimes archetypes, which are these recurring figures and motifs and themes and stories. Now, he linked this sometimes to the repressed elements inside the individual down in the unconscious or subconscious levels, and that these are kind of a cultural repression that might be coming through, or it might be an individual's repressed elements coming through. Now, either way, it seems that something is having an easier time coming through when we're asleep or when it's the nighttime, or that's just maybe more a convenient time for them. Either way, something's happening, it seems like, around the time that we sleep. To take it back to the question then, you really have to start to try to define whether or not it's purely related to sleep or whether or not it might purely be related to the spirit. If it's on the one hand with the sleep, there could still be some kind of a meaning to it, but you have to kind of consider your situation and ask yourselves a lot of questions. For example, have you had trouble sleeping in the past? Are you having trouble sleeping now? Do you have a history of sleepwalking or very vivid dreams, recurring nightmares? Are you having phenomena happen at your home objectively during the day as well? Has anything like this ever happened before? Is it outstanding? A lot of times these experiences will happen that people for the rest of their lives will look back on and be like, that was crazy, that was an outlier, that was different. Is it that crazy for you, or are you kind of more on the fence that it might have just been a dream coming through? Now, weighing all of these issues against each other is very, very important. If it's an isolated incident, if you're having trouble sleeping to begin with, and you're not having any other objective validation that there is a spirit there, then it might just be a dream that's crossing over into sleep when you woke up too fast. On the other hand, if you are kind of having some stuff happen around your house that might suggest that there's a spirit there, or if you've never had anything like this happen to you before, you've always been a very sound sleeper, you haven't had any trouble, then there might be something toward it actually being a spirit. But sleep is funky and fickle, and the brain is a very powerful object. But I would say that experience and research is starting to suggest that there is something more happening to make it less just dreaming and something a little bit more complex than that. That's all I got for you this week. If you guys who are watching this as well have any opinions about the subject and you want to leave them in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. Also, if you have any stories of your own that might relate to this type of thing, I'd love to hear them. I'm probably going to do a follow-up vlog on this topic because there's so much more to cover as well. So if you guys have any opinions or any weird things that happen to you while you're sleeping, go ahead and let me know. Of course, you can always hit me up on Twitter at Karl Pfeiffer, and you can find me on the website www.karlpfeiffer.com. I'd love it if you subscribe to either the YouTube channel or the blog or both. If you're interested in seeing these more, we're hitting these week to week to week as we study some of the nuances that we don't necessarily think of in the paranormal. If you want to check out my last two videos, I'll post those right here. On the one hand, we got the 4 types of paranormal investigator that we kind of break down and take a step back and look at things a little bit more objectively than just looking at it through the TV shows or what science has to necessarily say. In the other vlog, we kind of take a look at the Ouija board and kind of some of the spooky ideas that are going along with that. So definitely feel free to take a look at either of those two. Otherwise, I will see you next week.